child of the King. You know, one time there was this little preacher that preached at a little country church. And after he had preached one Sunday morning, he stopped at a store there on the outskirts of town where he had a charge account. And he went in and told the clerk that he'd like to get some bologna and cheese and sandwich meat, just enough to feed his children and his wife. And the clerk kind of looked at him and he said, "Brother, aren't you the preacher that preached down here at the little country church this morning?" And he said, "Yes, sir, I was." He said, "Well, I'm sorry, I can't charge you anything else until your bill's paid in full." He said, "I heard you tell all those people there this morning that your father owned the cattle on 1,000 hills. And if your father's that wealthy, I'm sorry, I can't charge you anything else until your bill's paid up." So sadly, the little preacher, he bowed his head and went out the door, kind of praying under his breath, saying, "God, I need your help one more time." And when he jumped in his old pickup truck and just kind of started down the highway there, and as he was approaching town, he noticed this vehicle coming up behind him, flashing his lights and blowing his horn, and he wondered, I wonder what they could want. So he poked his head out the window and said, "When we get on the other side of the light, find you a place to pull over. I need to talk to you." So finally the light turned green and he found him a place to pull over. The gentleman pulled up beside him and he told him, he said, "Sir," said, "I took a load of cattle off to the stockyards this week and said I prayed before I took them, and I promised God that if he would let me get the best price out of my cattle that I'd ever received, that I would share it with whoever he laid it onto my heart." And he said, "While I was approaching you, you were the one he wanted me to share this money with." So the little preacher, just rejoicing and happily, he turned around and just made a beeline right back to that little country market. He went in and told the clerk and said, "I'd like to get some sandwich meat." He said, "Brother, I done told you, I can't charge you anything else until your bill's paid up." He said, "I don't want to charge it, brother." He said, "You go ahead and slice it up and I'll pay you for it." And he said, "When you get through," he said, "go ahead and figure my bill. I'd like to pay it in full also." The clerk looked at him. He said, "Well, brother, I don't understand. Just 10 minutes ago you were in here. You didn't have the money to pay for what you wanted today, let alone pay your bill up in full." He said, "If you don't mind my asking, can I ask you how this came about?" And he said, "Well, you remember my preaching about my father that owned the cattle on 1,000 hills?" He said, "Yes, sir, I do." He said, "Well, if you don't mind my saying so, I'll just tell you, my father sold one of his cattle." I'm a child